Good evening, everyone. I'm hoping third time lucky. So, if you're out there, let me know. Give me a hello. I'd love to hear from you. I am doing, I think, I'm doing my first YouTube live, and I'm excited. Hello. Who is that? I can't see you. Tell me who you are. Are you hearing me clearly? Mm. Let me know that you're here in the chat. Oh, you've disappeared. I am hoping to see you. Hello. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that you can see me. I appreciate that. Lovely. So, yes, I think what I did before was I didn't ensure that it was the public who were able to see me. So now I think everybody should be able to see me. Let me know that you can see me. Um, let me know. Thank you, Miss D. You have given me your thumbs up, so I know that you are seeing me and hearing me clearly. Lovely. As I said, it's a special edition of It Is Possible Tuesdays. And as usual, we remind you that with God, all things are possible. It says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans for prosperity and not for disaster, for a future and a hope." With men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And because with God, all things are possible, it is possible for us to have good, positive, healthy mental health. It doesn't always have to be about the negatives. And normally, we tend to become very self conscious about our mental health, and we only think about the negative aspects of mental health. We only think about, oh, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I am depressed, I am always angry, I'm always seeing the negatives in life. I want to remind you that there's a flip side and that we can control the narrative. We can determine whether we have positive mental health um, or negative mental health. And remember, I'm speaking to you not as an expert. So I'm sure that there are some people who will say there are people who have mental illness that they can't help. And therefore, my statement uh, a few seconds ago is incorrect. What I really mean by that is there are things that you can do that can help you to have better mental health. And what do I mean by that? There are changes that you can make. There are lifestyle changes that you can make. So you may have to change your diet. You may have to surround yourself with people who will pour into you and help you. You may have to change some of your habits. So if you're always reading things that are sad and depressing, that actually put you further into that state of depression and angst and anxiety, then you need to change that. If you're normally with people who make you feel sad and feel unsure of yourself, then you need to change that. I read something recently which said, "You are not a tree, you can move. You are not planted where you are, so you can change your location. Also, you don't have to fit in, or not everywhere that you fit in is the right place for you. So you can take yourself out of that environment. Remember, your mind is like a garden. Be careful what you plant there, because whatsoever you plant or what you sow, you will reap. So if you are always, oh, somebody else is just asking me if they have the right link. I'm hoping that they do. Yes, they do. So I hope to see them on soon. So yes. So as I was saying, you have to make you have to be intentional about your mental health. And your mental health should be as important to you as your physical health. So, what are some of the things that you do to maintain or improve your physical health? Do you drink more water each day? Do you reduce the number of amount of sugar that you take on a daily basis? Do you remove sugar entirely from your diet? Do you have natural sugars? So the sugars from fruits. And are we talking about the fruits that you just pick from the trees or get from the tin? So you need to think about those things. Are you going to change your diet? I don't mean are you going to go on a diet. I'm saying, are you going to change your diet and include more fruits and vegetables and less sweets and carbohydrates? Because that may also affect your mental health. I read recently something that said that sugar in the brain of a child is manifests itself as ADHD. Now, as I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing something that I read. I did look at it quizzically, but when I read the article further along, it did make sense to me because sugar makes you hyper, and ADHD talks about hyperactivity and impulsive behavior. So that has to do with our mental health. Our diet has to do with our mental health. Are you getting enough hours of sleep? Do you know that if you don't sleep for the right quantity of hours per day, that you start forgetting things because you become sleep deprived? Now, if you are forgetful, that's affecting your mental health. Okay, because you won't meet deadlines, you won't be confident in what you're doing because you won't know what you know, and you won't be sure that you know what you know or you remember it clearly. If you're not, you're going to be sleep deprived, you're going to be grumpy, you're going to be irritable, you're not going to be at your best, and that affects your mental health. So ensuring that your diet is right, ensuring that your sleep hygiene is good, drinking your water is important. Another thing about your mental health is ensuring that you are in nature, breathe in the fresh air. If you are in a room or an area or a location that is dusty and muggy and moldy and humid, that will put a damper on your spirits. You won't feel excited. There's something called SAD, seasonal, I've forgotten what the full acronym means, but it's when the winter time comes, you actually feel less inclined to be happy and upbeat and, ready to do things. We want to ensure that when you're in a room or in an environment, that it elevates your spirits. Think about why people light candles, scented candles, and set a mood. Okay, it's to change the mood. It's to impact your mental health. Okay, so if you're in a dark, damp, dusty, muggy environment, that's not going to help you. So make the time to go out into the fresh air and walk among nature. What can be better than nature. Beautiful flowers, different plants, the colors, the variation of colors. I was walking on Sunday and I looked at the leaves and I was like, God is just awesome, you know. He has leaves of different colors, he has leaves of different shapes, he has shades, variations of green. I mean, a painter's palette can't come anywhere near to nature's palette, you know? And so being out in nature elevates your mental status, your mental health. It puts you in a good mood and you feel much better. Something else that I found is good for your mental health. And welcome everybody. Give me a wave. Let me know who you are because I know you're there, but I can't see who is on. Let me know who you are. And let's talk. Share with me your views on mental health and how the day went for you, because today is Mental Health Awareness Day, Mental Health Day. But as I said, something that I've found to be very good for your mental health is being around people who are positive, people who are elevating you. It doesn't help for you to be with people who are inclined to put a downer on you, or people who are saying things to you such as you're not good, you are rubbish. No, no, no. You need to be with people who are honest and will tell you that you're doing well, that would tell you how well you're doing, how you can improve, people who will challenge you, people who will um, help you to improve, to be your best self. You don't want people who will always be saying to you, ah, yes, everything is fine. No, you want people who are honest with you, people who will tell you that where you're doing well and where you need to improve. And these, they're honest because they respect you and because they know that when they speak to you, they speak life into you. And that's what we want, people who speak life into others. That's good for our mental health. We don't want people who are yes men. We want people who are critical friends. It's the critical friends who will help you to see how you can improve yourself. It's a critical friend who will help you to be your better self. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. Those people will cheer you at the right time, but they will also pull you up at the right time. They will help you to be balanced. Do you have a critical friend? Have you found that you have friends who do different aspects of helping your mental health? You're the friend who will always give you a joke, keep you smiling. There's a friend who always um, keeps you accountable. You said you were going to do it. Is this your best work? That's the friend who really keeps you on toe, who you know if you want to really run an idea by, that's the friend to have. You have the friend who's a cheerleader. You can do it. I believe in you. Have you found those people in your life as yet? World Mental Health. All of these things form a part of the package for your mental health. Hi, Jen. Good evening. Welcome. I was just having a talk about things that benefit our mental health. I've mentioned your diet. I've mentioned being in nature. I've mentioned being with people who elevate you. What are some of the things that you would say you have found that have been of benefit to your mental health? You can just type it in if you want. Um, yes, so sleeping is important, as I said, because you don't want to be sleep deprived, because you can't operate at your best if you're sleep deprived. Once you have good rest, then you are ready to go. Your mind is alert, all your juices are flowing, you know, and you'll be able to do very well. You can problem solve, you can come up with new ideas, you can be more, it feeds the mind. You know, I spoke about be careful of what you sow in your mind, because whatever you sow you will reap. And sowing things in your mind can also be based on what you read, what you see, what you look at. If you're always looking on gory things, then your mental health is in a state of high vigilance, survival mode. You don't want that. You want to be alert, but you don't want to be so vigilant that you can't relax because you need to grow. Yes, critical friends for different situations. That's very helpful and very important because we don't want yes men around us or yes women around us because that doesn't help us to grow. Thanks, Jen. So, um, ensuring that we have critical friends is important, but ensuring that we make time. Another thing is to make time for yourself. Self-care, self-love is important for your mental health. If you don't take time for yourself, then you can't do good for yourself. And what do I mean by this? Some people are just always working to stop and help. The important, definitely. If we don't have time for God's word, we definitely will shrink. I'm going to come to that as well, Jen. So thank you for that. But we have to take time to rest. All right. We have to take time. Yes, the good support network. Resting is important. And that's why God gave us the Sabbath, so that we could rest. We would take ourselves out of the rat race and just breathe. And so taking time to do something that's just about you, going on long walks, going for a swim, reading a good book, going to the theater, doing some volunteer work, sewing, knitting, crocheting, running, cycling, anything that takes your mind away from the hustle and the bustle of your work. Okay, it's definitely important to your mental health, to your positive mental health. Speaking words of life, okay? Allowing people, what you listen to is important as well. You don't want to be listening to people complaining. You don't want to be listening to people whining. You certainly don't want to be listening to people who are swearing and using derogatory language or using negative, abusive words. No, we don't want that. We want things that are healthy to pour into us so that we can pour into others. If you are in a good space mentally, then you will pour into others. There's something that I have found that is very helping others. Yes, definitely helping others. And that is, it's interesting that you said that, Jen, because that is simply similar to what I was just about to say. I get so excited when I compliment people. And I was talking about it recently. I saw a young Black um, teenage boy, and he had this huge afro, and he looked so outstanding, he looked so awesome because he was so confident with his, I mean, it was huge. And I was like, that is awesome. And I said to him as I was passing him, I love your hair. Your afro looks so good. And he looked surprised because here's this old woman telling him about his afro. But you could see he said, thank you. And I was like, that's good. I felt good complimenting him. And I know that he must have been saying, yes, an old woman, but yes, you noticed my hair. And I like that. My saying something positive to somebody makes me feel good. Another day I saw, and sometimes people are a little caught off guard because they're not used to people just randomly saying things to them. I saw a lady in a lovely African outfit one day, and she walked past me, and I walked behind her. I was going, "Hello, hello," and she turned around, like, "Why are you stalking me?" And I said to her, "Your outfit is lovely," and she went, "Thank you." But you could see the surprise on her face, but at the same time, you could also see her thinking to herself, that's lovely. And I think that if we go around saying those things, positive things to people, complimenting people, it helps us and it helps them. In the same way that when we help people, there is it's almost a rush of endorphins, because you know that I was able to help somebody, and that makes you feel good. That's why we are encouraged to volunteer. As a child growing up, I grew up with an organization called the Kiwan, not the Kiwan, it's the Lions Club. And they would go into different communities and do community activities. We didn't have to wait until Labor Day, and that was in Jamaica. We didn't have to wait until special days when we weren't at work. They made it a point of duty to serve their community. And in Jamaica, we tend to be very, well, when I was growing up there, we used to be very community oriented. And so we would, as children, as church, as community groups, we would look for projects. And it may be that there was a school that needed some repair, maybe a school that needed beautification, maybe a library or a garden or a community area that needed to have the grass cut and the trees trimmed and things like that. And we would simply say, okay, we need 10 people. We're going to go there on Tuesday evening. We're going to do this activity. And everybody would chip in. The fact that we were helping somebody made a big difference to how we felt about ourselves. We weren't saying, oh, we're better than people. No, we were saying, there is a need. I have what is needed to help the need. I'm going to do it, and I feel really good. And it's not about you shouting it from the rafters. No, it's about you simply doing it and knowing that you have helped somebody and that person enjoyed or is happy or pleased that you are able to help them. When we have another thing that's good for your mental health is spending time with God. And we are encouraged that in the early hours of the morning, when everything is quiet, that we have our time with God. And we can talk to Him about anything, and we can also hear Him talking to us. So we read His word, we sing some songs, we pray, and we listen. And we will hear Him talking to us. We will hear Him through the songs that we are singing. We'll hear Him through the words that we are reading. But we will also hear Him in the silence. And when we have that time with God, I know the benefit of being able to know that, you know what? I know that my strength doesn't come from me. My strength comes from somebody bigger than me, my God, my creator, my king, my savior, and I can go to him about anything. That helps our mental health. People who don't have that really feel at a loss because they don't have somebody that they can rely on. And God is somebody that we can rely on. And His word teaches us that we can rely on Him. His words give us words of promise, that we can claim. So when we're not having a up day, because our mental health consists of us having good days and bad days. But the important thing is that we don't want to go either way. We don't want to be on the downer all the time. We don't want to be constantly high because that's a little fabricated. But what we can do is learn how to handle situations that will take our mental health out of kilter. What we want is to learn strategies or learn things that will help us to create balance. What do you do to create balance in your life so that your mental health is on an even keel? Helping others, focusing on things that are positive for you to hear, having a good support network, as somebody has said, doing good for others, being with people who are like minded so that you're not constantly in controversy, being like minded, but not having the same thoughts. No, we don't all want to have the same thoughts. That's not healthy either. It simply means that we're just following. We're not coming up with our own ideas. And people who like each other, they don't always have to have the same idea or thought on anything. We can have healthy disagreement that creates growth. What we don't want is divisiveness, because that will chip away at positive mental health. Mental health, good mental health, having a growth mindset. One of the things I say to my students is include the word yet. Don't say I can't do it. Say I can't do it yet. Don't say I don't know how, I don't know what to do. Say I will learn what to do. I think it's important for us to constantly recognize that a part of having positive mental health is recognition that growth takes place, that we grow, that we make change, that we move from one place to another. And the way we handled a situation previously will change because we've had the experience and we know that that doesn't work. So this will work. Let me give you an example. If you have never, if you've never done skydiving, and I am not going to tell you that I've done skydiving. I've done skydiving, but not the one where you go outside and jump from a plane. I'm not there yet. All right. But I remember the first time I did indoor skydiving, I was thinking to myself, okay, I can do this. Okay. And so the gentleman took us out. And when when he took us out, he said, okay, just keep your body flat, straight. I'm thinking to myself, I can do this. So I had my hands out, my feet were out behind me as well. But then I was going down. And the reason I was going down is because I had not yet learned how to hold my body straight. So instead of my body being straight, my body sank like that. And so, of course, if that's happening, I'm going to go down because the wind needs to have a flat surface to keep me buoyed up. If you have never done something like that before, you are going to be worried a little. Can I take the risk? But the minute you are taught what to do and you get that first done it sense of accomplishment, that buoys you up for the rest. Anything that you're doing, you will be worried about doing it the first time. But once you have that first taste and somebody's encouraging you and somebody's saying, yes, you can do it, that buoys your spirit. You're thinking, I can do this. Let me try. And taking a risk is healthy. You just need to make sure that you look at all angles. Risk taking sometimes creates creativity. And that's how we get new inventions. That's how we get new ideas and new things happening. Okay. So I want to encourage you today as we close World Mental Health Day. Take stock, do an audit of your mental health. What are the things that you need to improve to ensure that your mental health is on the up and up? What are some of the changes that you implement to ensure that your mental health is positive? What are some of the things that you will need to get rid of to ensure that change is taking place and growth is taking place and your mental health is in its best possible state? I would like to encourage you to do your audit and think about, when am I not at my best? Is it when I've had too much sugar? Is it when I have not had enough water? Is it when I've not had? Is it when I have negative thoughts? Is it when I'm around a certain group of persons who don't feed into me? If that is the situation, then I need to make some changes. I need to feed into my positive self. I need to have words of affirmation. I need to look in the mirror in the morning and say, Sanya, you are made in God's image. You're God's child. You are precious to Him. You're so precious that He died for your sins. He wants you to be the best. He has said to you, ask and it shall be given. He has said, come and reason with me. He has said that he's going to be with you always. So you don't have to be afraid. He has said your life, your salvation. He has said that he's your shepherd, and every need that you have, he will supply it. You are ready to go out and be the best version of yourself. Go conquer the world. I think that that makes sense that we do that every day. We talk positive things into our lives, not hairy, scary, or hear 'em, scare 'em, but based on the word of God. And when we do that, it will definitely start our day off right. Take some time to look at the things that you're doing that may not be helpful to you. Take some time to stop, leave work at work, and when you come home, be fully present at home. Spend time doing things with your family. You know what? There was a time when families spent time together, not with the mobile phones, spent time talking and playing games. Who remember playing Ludo? Who remember Chinese checkers? Who remembers playing cards? I remember as a child playing Egypt games, and you had to remember the different members of the family. Oh, that kept your mind sharp, your memory. You had to remember all the names of the children and who married whom. But everybody in the family was playing. You know, I remember, for example, Daddy used to tell us jokes. There's this joke that he used to say, report and repeat and report went on a bus. Report came off, who was left? Yes, snakes and ladder, yes. And of course, what will your answer be? Type your answer in. Repeat and report went on a bus. Report came off, who was left? Type your answer in and let me see if you got the joke. Because we found it hilarious every time we did it, you know. And at first we never understood why he was doing what he was doing. But as we got older, we realized, but it was funny to us because he made the time to give us jokes, to tell us jokes. I mean, tell stories to one another. You know, the art of actually talking to one another is dying and is not elevating. And I think we need to cultivate conversational skills so that we talk and we actually listen and respond to what people are saying. You know, when anybody remembers playing skipping at school, you would skip by yourself, but it was so much more fun when you had people holding the rope on either side and you'd run in and you'd skip and they'd go 1, 2, 3 Auntie Lulu, 4, 5, 6 Auntie Lulu. Anybody remember those songs? Or is it because I'm from Jamaica? That's the one we did. But your mental health as well. Your friends, you'd try to see who could skip the longest. It would be a lovely competition. But you had a certain camaraderie because your friends were there. And if you know what, we're social beings. And because we're social beings, when we're around others, it helps our mental health. Hello, everybody. Tell me who you are. Say hello, please. Welcome. We're going to finish in a few minutes. I'm just doing a very short little chit chat with you today. Young children are not, yes, but you know what I think, Jen? They're not interested because we haven't introduced it to them from early. And what we have introduced them to is the screen. And I think that families, you know, the statement, The family that prays together stays together. It makes a big difference, when families do things together, the children recognize that, yes, we do these things with mommy and daddy, and we build a relationship, and that's your first community. And what I learn with my family, I take it outside. So within the family, I'm validated. Within the family, I feel recognized as an individual. I feel that I can say things because I've been taught how to do that. And I think when we teach our children that, it helps them to be confident. It helps them to be assured. It helps them to be proud of who they are, not arrogant, but proud of who they are. And it's harder for them to be pulled in every which direction, which gets them upset, which makes them susceptible to bullying, which makes them vulnerable to grooming, and which makes them do quite a number of things that we see happening in our society with our young people and older ones, where mental health is very precarious, because there hasn't been a solid introduction to things that feed positively into young people, into children, so that as they're growing, when they meet upon certain situations, they know exactly how to handle it. And that is what I think is important about mental health, that having good mental health means that we have strategies to help us when we meet upon a bump in the road, so that we don't actually crack. You see some roads that have a breakaway, and everything just crashes. What we want to do is to ensure that we teach our young people, we teach our children what to do when there are problems. So somebody says to you, I don't like your natural hair. I heard that a little girl say, a boy said to her at school, I don't like your hair like that. And she says, well, I don't care. I like it, man. I like it. And I said, wow, she was no older than 6. But here she was saying to a boy who had said, I don't like your hair. She said, well, I like it. And it didn't matter to her. She was confident in herself. That means that her network, her community, her village had been pouring into her so that she was proud of who she was. She didn't mind if he didn't like her hair, she liked it. And that's one of the things that helps us. Once you are comfortable with who you are, once you've been told that you are valuable, that you are positive, we have spoken words of affirmation into the lives of our children, then they can handle anything. They don't have to break because somebody says they don't like something about them. I hope that you will speak words of life into all the persons that you interact with. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to encourage you. Tomorrow, say some random Place, not say, pay some people random compliments. People who you don't know. You see somebody walking and they seem happy, they have a lovely smile, or they have put themselves together well. Compliment them. Say good morning to somebody or good afternoon to somebody and smile. Cheer them up. You will may never know what you've done for somebody just by being human, just by sharing yourself with them in a positive way. As we look at World Mental Health Day, I would like to encourage you to do random acts of kindness. You will feel good about yourself, and you would have helped somebody to feel good about themselves. Let's get back to the place where we play games, especially with our children. Make a date with your children to play some games. Even if they go, oh, mommy, oh, daddy, I don't want to do that. Build that relationship with them so that they will start to recognize how blessed they are to have you as parents. You know something? Hello, everybody. I see more people coming on. You know something that I've found out? If we build relationships with people, it definitely helps mental health. If people feel connected to others, they feel good about themselves. And if people feel good about themselves, then they're in a better frame of mind to handle anything that comes their way. They won't go off kilter if they meet upon disappointment. They will look on it and say, this happened, this was supposed to happen, but this happened instead. Let me see what I can learn from this. Oh, or that happened and it wasn't supposed to happen. I think it's because I didn't do this. Aha. It's an aha moment, a learning moment, a stepping stone moment. And so they have learned from that. So they have taken away something positive rather than saying, oh no, I am rubbish. I can't do anything right. Now, do we ever feel like we're rubbish? Sometimes, yes. But should we hold on to it? Should we say it? No. I read somewhere, yes, and I read and I tell you what I read. I read somewhere that we need to always speak positively to ourselves because our brain doesn't know when we're joking. And sometimes, oh, I'm just joking. No, your brain doesn't know that you're joking. Your brain words, your brain takes it on. So that's why it's very important for us to guard our tongues. What do I mean by guarding our tongues? Making sure that we are only speaking positive things. Now, when I say speak positive things, I'm saying let's be realistic. I don't want us telling ourselves things that are not true, things that are not real. I want us to speak life. I want us to be prophetic in what we are saying, but I don't want us to be unrealistic. Okay. If I'm not studying with NASA, if I'm not doing astrophysics or whatever, I'm not going to go to the moon. Okay. If I've not been practicing gymnastics, pole vaulting, or whatever it is, the horse, whatever it is that Simone Biles does, and she has a move made of her name, I can't say I'm going to get a Olympic gold in gymnastics. Okay. I can say I'm going to do a 5K walk and I'm going to do it in 30 minutes. And I set my goal and I work towards it. I practice every day. All right. So I set myself goals. I speak positively into my life, but I'm realistic with it. Okay. I make changes. I start doing things that allow the endorphins to flow. I do things to help others because that helps me. I say positive words to others. I compliment others. I help others. I do things for fun. I definitely look at my lifestyle. All right. And I think about making changes. I make changes that will be beneficial to me, but in being beneficial to me, I am also being beneficial to my community. If I am happy, then my community is going to be happy because happiness is contagious, especially when it starts with me, when I don't look for somebody else to create my happiness for me. Okay. Remember, I need you, you need me. Each one reach one. And together, we all can reach one. Make sure your words are covered in sugar and spice because you'll never know when you will need to eat them. Beautiful. Thank you, Jen. Speak life into people. You don't want to have to swallow what you said. And as Jen said that, when I say something unkind, I can always apologize. But do you know what? It's like when I put a nail into a piece of board. An apology is like my taking the nail out. But guess what? The damage has already been done and there will be a scar. So let's try not to leave it around. What we want to do is to heal people with our words and our actions. What we want to do is to ensure that we are building community. What we want to make sure is that everybody that we come in contact with, they leave better having met us. And if we are pouring positivity into people, that positivity will be reciprocated and we will feel good about ourselves. World Mental Health Day. Let us all focus on what we can do every day to make sure that we are positive, to make sure that we're using the strategies that will help us to handle problems so that people will know how to deal with situations and get out of situations that are negative. Ladies and gentlemen, I said I'd just be on for 45 minutes. It has been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much, those of you who have been sharing with me and responding to me. For those of you who are here, just drop a little hello for me so that I know who you are. It's been a pleasure for me to be here. Thanks, Jen. Uh, I am happy that you were able to come on and um, participate with me. So I know I see Jen. Who else is there? Let me know where you're coming from. So let me recap some of the things for mental health. Do an audit. Look at your sleep. Make sure that you rest. Do things that are fun. Spend time. Spend time with whom? Who should you spend time with? You're welcome. Who should you spend time with? Family and friends that uplift you. Compliment people. Help others. Learn strategies that are beneficial to you. What do you do when you get in a funk? Maybe you need to just stop. Close your eyes, remove yourself from the situation, and then take a deep breath and return. If you take a deep breath, it means that you can remove yourself from the situation, give yourself some space, and you might find out that you are better having taken some time. As I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing with you things that I think they have worked for me. Um, and I think that I should share them with you today on World Mental Health Day. We each have to look out for one another. We each have to help the other because you're my brother, you're my sister. I don't know you, at least I know some of you, but even if I didn't know you, you are my brother, you're my sister. We are a part of the family of God. And if I have something that I think has worked for me, I think I should share it with you. And I hope that you have been blessed today. It is Possible Tuesday, special edition just for today. Hello. I'm not quite sure who this is, but thank you very much, Sunday Dinner. Thank you very much. Um, it's been good to share with you what has worked with me, and remember that everything is possible with God. Once you are alive, things are possible. So be a doer, be a thinker. See possibility everywhere. And remember, the Bible tells us that with men, things are impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Your mental health, good mental health, is possible. Let this mind be also in you, which was in Christ Jesus, a mind of humility. And when we think on good things, then our mental health will definitely be positive and we'll be able to handle anything. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining me. Do have a very good evening and remember, it is possible. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.